re. Je suis dé... Oh, ah, j'ai eu peur. J'ai eu tellement peur. Il a l'air bien ce jeu lol. Donc ouais, en fait j'ai eu une erreur survenue encore, donc c'est ce que je disais. Bonsoir Wapan, comment ça va? Donc oui, j'ai souvent ce problème là avec ce jeu, et donc je pense que si ça bug encore, bah, je sais pas sur quoi j'irai. Donc voilà pourquoi il y a quelques temps ce jeu j'avais retiré ma sauvegarde. Quelle coïncidence, j'y pensais à ce jeu justement. Ça va toujours. Bah, ça fait combien de temps que tu y as pensé? Parce que juste avant que tu arrives, justement, j'ai eu le jeu qui a sauté, tu vois. Maudit jeu. Il se joue en ligne. Là, non, je l'ai eu gratuitement grâce au PS Plus. J'ai jamais eu d'erreur pourtant sur Vampyr. Ouais, mais moi, quand j'avais joué une fois sur PS Now, ben, ça me faisait que des erreurs. Et bah là, voilà, c'est ce qui s'est passé. Ouais, en fait, Wapan Killer, c'est ta faute, en fait, si le jeu il a sauté. Parce que comme par hasard, au même moment que tu y penses, bim, j'ai une erreur. Donc, il est fort probable qu'au cours de la soirée, parce que je vais le faire durant la soirée d'Halloween, il est fort probable qu'au final, bah, après, j'aille sur un autre jeu si ça bug encore. Eh, le chat, you. Ah bah maintenant, c'est c'est YouTube qui merde. Ah, j'en peux plus, au secours. Laissez pas le moment de bugger, YouTube, allez là. Oh, mon chat ne s'affiche plus. Ah. Bon bah du coup, je ne verrai pas ce que vous dites. Donc je vais faire un truc, je vais mettre sur le côté parce que sinon je ne vois strictement pas vos commentaires. Diffusion, commentaires. Ah. DBD, sans faire exprès, je suis machiavélique, blabla. Paramètres avancés, affichés. Voilà. Bon, désolé, mais du coup, comme j'ai mon écran qui a décidé... enfin, le chat qui veut plus s'afficher à côté. Ah bah là, maintenant que je mets les commentaires ici, ça sera affiché sur le côté. Ah ouais, mais je vois encore plus petit, c'est nul. Ah, on va jamais y arriver. Au secours, Jeanne. Ah voilà, je vois mieux. Je sens que ça va être une soirée très chiante. Eh, toi, tu me vois là-haut? Jet est là en plus. Moi qui voulais jouer sur la console. Ah, excusez-moi, monsieur, j'étais en train de lire le chat. Mais ramasse. Oh, des balles. Voilà, restez occupés les gens. Gio. J'étais là, moi qui voulais jouer sur la console. Je vais te suivre à la place. C'est beau, c'est mieux, je trouve. Mais non, Michel, ça bug parce que Michel et Michel sont connectés au même moment. Et moi qui ai tué les Sims aujourd'hui. Je suis perdu. Là, il y a des traces. Là, il y a des traces. Oh, toi, j'ai envie de te sauter dessus. Ah, j'ai pas fait de bruit. Hop. Oh. J'ai esquivé, monsieur. Ah, ça c'est une boîte. Bien. Mais oh! Moi quand je veux faire la même chose, ça passe pas à travers. Hein. Ah, c'est chaud. Ah, nom, 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 nom. Ça, c'est à moi. Le chemin, le chemin, le chemin. Ah, il y a encore un Jean là. Oh, t'as quoi, toi, tu brilles. Merci. Ya! Ah non. Easy, un échange de passe entre toi et Izumi. Izumo ou autre fausse manip. Tu seras? Non, je... J'ai trop kiffé son Eni là. Ah, bonjour monsieur. Hop, je te vole. Ah non, non, moi comme j'ai trop m'a mis en... Comment que ça s'appelle? En modo sur son compte. Bah, la moindre des choses, c'est qu'il soit également modo sur le mien. Puis quand je live, il est toujours là. J'ai trop est possédé par Emile. Izumo, ça sonne moins bien, hein. Ça fait un peu sumo. Ya! 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 Mais t'appelais? Ça se voit qu'il vient de se réveiller, le vampire, hein. Allez. Non mais... Tiens, bouffe ma patte. Non mais oh. Vous avez des trucs? Mais non! Je voulais pas atterrir là. Je voulais ramasser ce qu'il y avait par terre. Voilà. Oh, une boîte, ça brille. Ouais, de la poudre. Je vais me faire un rail. Je dois aller où? Tout à l'heure, ils m'ont parlé des rats. Et j'avoue que je sais pas du tout écouter ce qu'ils ont dit. Toi, t'as quoi? T'as plus rien. Mais j'en ai marre que tu te retournes. Je suis pas folle, j'entendais pas. Peut-être au-dessus. Il y a quelqu'un? Ah oui. Excusez-moi, je dérange pas de plus. Waouh, il était riche lui. Faut l'insulter pour l'invoquer. J'y pense aussi. Ouais. Des rats! Aïe, je me suis planté de bitonio. Ah! Rat! Mais fais ah! Ah! Le monsieur est passé par ici. Il est passé par là. Oh, une boîte.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it.
Je vous emprunte ça, monsieur.
The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Il est passé par ici. Oh, une boîte. Ça, j'emprunte.
cannot enter.
Ça peut pas être ouvert de ce côté-là. Ta main elle est quand même assez grande pour passer de l'autre côté. Enfin, assez petite.
This place reeks of bloodshed.
Oh. Ouais, mon premier combat de boss. Tu permets, mec, avant je récupère tout ce qu'il y a à récupérer.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
William Bishop. Enchanté. Ah, miam, 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 miam. Tiens, bouffe ma griffe. Bleh. Toro. Aïe, j'ai raté. Mais bouffe-le. Ah, non, 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 non. Tiens. Hop. Mais non, mais j'ai esquivé. Aïe, 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 aïe. Arrête de me manger. Je suis pas comestible. Tiens. Touché. Ya. Ya. Oh, non, 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 non. Oh, il manque un bout du baril. Au secours. Gouloum gouloum ya. J'arrive même plus à suivre le chat du coup. Mon précieux passe modérate. Des boss, tu te débrouilles très bien pour t'en faire toute seule. Non, je suis pas comestible. Je suis pas comestible. Bonjour. Enfin, bonsoir.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my
Je suis
flock.
spécialiste en sussologie.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
J'aime bien quand les sous-titres ils sont pas mis en même temps que les gens y parlent.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can
Non, ça
learn
j'ai
something
pas
about
assez
what
donné
has
à
happened
manger.
to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Il lui faut des chamallows. Récupérer un échantillon de sang. Oh bah, avant je fouille. J'ai pas fini de fouiller. Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour. Ah, ça doit être douloureux pour lui quand même, hein. Oh. Monsieur le mort, vous êtes où? Ah, vous êtes là.
This poor creature can't be my maker.
Ça y est,
Could
j'ai
it
ce
be
qu'il faut.
some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place
Elle
to
aura meilleur.
analyze the blood.
C'est Gwenfouille. Mais... Bienvenue à bord du Titanic. Tut, tut, tut.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal.
Au
They'll have a
Pembroke
bed for poor
Hospital.
Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... Who is she?
Le Titanic
woman?
plutôt.
Don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself. Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I
Dr.
am?
Reed.
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again, from a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
And for that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother.
Oui, je fais 1m60. Je fais la taille de Levi. Faut le retenir.
Take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
T'es plus grande que ma mère. Ça va être parti pour le I am
It
Dr.
seems I have
Jonathan
little
Reed.
choice. Yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Et là, le mec il part en trombe, t'as mon gars, il se pète la gueule. Il y aura une interrogation écrite. Oh, ça me fatigue tout leur blabla.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime,
Je
find
sais
a
plus si je l'avais.
good bed.
C'est quoi
for
mon
Mr.
trophée que j'avais la
Hampton.
dernière fois?
Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea,
Welcome
immediately.
aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Pénétrer dans le Pembroke hôpital.
It's locked.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Mr. Hampton needs me right now.
Gna, 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 gna.
You can do better than that. Now, it's my turn. Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all. Oh, come on, you bastard.
Approche, sale bâtard, je ne mords pas.
Sir,
Ouais, mais moi,
please.
oui.
You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital,
Tiens, je
you
joue avec ton
arse.
micro. Non. Amenez-moi à l'hôpital.
I don't mind to let you bleed out. Good luck then, sir.
Désolé, dans mon ancienne partie, je te laissais vivre.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Ah mais oui, je vais t'emmener dans un coin tranquille et... Je vais te charmer. Viens avec moi dans un coin sombre.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Allez, je t'étreins. Nom 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 nom. Et mes habits restent propres.
In the back,
Voilà,
you
rien qu'une
bastard.
petite bouchée.
Didn't have the guts to fuck me.
Même pas les couilles de m'affronter.
Kill you.
Ouais, mais j'ai ta hachette, mon gars.
Kill you.
Ce quartier suivra bientôt les conséquences de votre geste. Ouais, mais ça valait un trophée, monsieur le jeu.
To taste a life. To embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden. Such a divine sin.
Moi, j'aime bien tuer des gens. Manger des gens. Tant que vous avez des dents, croquez des gens. Hein. La meilleure des devises. Bonjour, madame.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan
Elle
Reed,
fait peur.
the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
C'est bien Izumi, ça. Tout pour les trophées, tant pis pour les gens. Non, mais c'est surtout que la première fois que j'avais joué, j'avais déjà fait le trophée de le laisser vivant.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Et le problème, c'est que comme le jeu avec moi a tendance à bugger,
Not good, to say the
du
least.
coup, autant en profiter pour faire
We're
les autres
struggling
trophées.
against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any
La
bullet
musique de
from a gun.
l'hôpital me donnait toujours envie de pioncer.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Oh, vous avez des dents? Branchez des jambes. Izumi 2020, période de pandémie. Oh, ça date même d'un peu plus longtemps que ça, cette phrase-là. Quand je joue à TBD, que je jouais l'épidémie. La harpie, en fait, son memento mori, c'est de bouffer les boyaux des gens. Et du coup, j'avais sorti en phrase « Tant que vous avez des dents, croquez des gens ».
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
D'accord. Un disrequis, un disrequis, un disrequis. Là, normalement, j'ai tout fait. Ouais. Je faisais ça sur des BD et je suis connectée dessus. Ça fait déjà 2 jeux au même soir, Izumi. Moi, je pense qu'il y a un truc. Gwyneth, j'avais lu Gwen.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Oh, je vous avais pas vu, vous.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think
Je
of any
récupère mes
better
récompenses
news
d'Halloween,
during
des
this
cristaux
terrible
mauves.
time.
Ça ne se
Do we
refuse
know
pas.
each other?
Actually,
Ouais,
yes.
bah, j'y suis même pas allée
We
aujourd'hui
met
pour les
once
récupérer.
before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more, unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Ouais, bah j'irai voir peut-être tout à l'heure.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Au revoir, docteur Tippett. Là, il n'y a rien. Ah. Allez hop. Oh, t'as qu'à rentrer sans moi, meuf. J'arrive. Je fouille, j'ai le droit, non? Oh, je suis pas libre de faire ce que je veux. Ouais, non, après là-haut, c'est dangereux.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
Où est-ce que j'étais? Bah, j'ai tué un mec, j'ai été voir des gens.
I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest.
Alors, en train d'essayer les vampires, je suis dans l'ambiance dans le salon. Bah, au moins Amnésia, je sais qu'il déconne pas. Enfin, le peu que j'y ai joué, il n'y avait pas eu de problème.
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Votre bureau est prêt.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Ah bah moi j'ai pas besoin de sédatif, hein. Tout à l'heure je n'arrête pas de bailler.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden.
Ça bailloute.
I've only just returned
Mais
to
oui,
England.
ça bailloute.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate.
Je crois que ce qui me tue, c'est de jouer à Genshin parce que maintenant j'ai plus rien à faire, faut que j'attende la mise à
It's
jour.
right to assume Dr. Swansea
Et je dois
knows
passer
far
mon
more
moment de
about
rang
me than I
4.
do about him.
Enfin niveau 4,
You'll get
que
to
le
know him
problème
soon
c'est
enough,
que
and better than me.
j'attends de pouvoir
The
up
administrator has better
tous mes
things to do than
persos
mix
et
with us.
mes armes. Parce que du coup aujourd'hui j'ai farmé un peu les donjons pour avoir ce qu'il me faut pour les armes et les
If you could
persos.
point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Et je suis
Thank
pire
you,
qu'un
nurse.
chat, je passe mon temps à dormir en plus. Et ça fait 2 jours de suite que l'après-midi j'ai pas dormi. Attention. Peut-être pour ça que je dors à moitié là. Hop là.
Good
Encore
evening,
typé.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Non. Les seules bonnes nouvelles, c'est que
Goodbye,
je pique
Doctor.
tout ce que je trouve, monsieur. Je suis un vampire kleptomane. Là, il n'y a rien d'intéressant. Oh, je déteste le passage de l'hôpital parce que la première fois que j'ai joué, j'étais perdue. Allez, bonjour.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, t'as
I'm
pas
Dr.
lu dire.
Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm
Kenshin,
Milton
le
Hooks,
Kenshin.
the
Bah,
ambulance
Kenshin
driver
Impact.
for this shithole of a
Gen.
hospital.
That's quite a blunt
Genshin.
introduction, Mr. Hooks.
Jeanchin.
You can call me
Jeanchin
Milton.
Impact.
I like to speak my mind,
Oh,
Dr.
t'as pas lu
Reed.
de yaoi,
Part of the job.
Non, je n'ai
Don't
plus
judge
de
me,
yaoi
and I
à
won't
lire.
judge you.
J'en
I'm
ai à
not sure
regarder,
I
mais j'en ai
understand
plus à
what
lire.
you're talking about.
Well,
Et avant
I'm
de
no
regarder quoi que
doctor,
ce soit,
but
je
I'm
dois
pretty
regarder
sure a
Violet
gun can't be used
Evergarden.
as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen
Non, je vais me
eye.
faire crier dessus.
I learned to shoot during the war and have carried
Mais
one
par
ever
contre, oui,
since.
comme le mois prochain,
Habits
donc
die hard.
No
oui, au
need
mois
to
de novembre, je
explain,
vais
Dr. Reed.
précommander
And if you ever need a better gun,
Sword
remember,
Art
I may
Online de
have
la
something
première
for you.
partie. Oh. Et ben, je commanderai en même temps un ou deux
So
yaoi.
what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an
Violet.
ambulance driver since too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
C'est sur Netflix, Violet Evergarden.
It sounds like things
Garden,
have
je
been a
crois
bit
même que
rough
c'est pas Ever.
recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Tac.
How is the situation
Attends,
around you?
j'appelle
You want to hear the
téléphone pour voir
situation
ça.
is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything,
Sur
and it's
Netflix.
getting worse every day.
Bilan de santé, R1, R2 pour plus de détails. Ouais, en bonne santé, c'est cool.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know, and by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Donc ça, c'est tout ce que j'ai pu acheter. Ça, c'est tout ce que j'ai pu vendre. Je peux vendre. Ah, c'est ça, Camelot. Tiens, je te vends des bouteilles. Alliance. Allez, hop. 17 balles. Peut-être recycler en composant. Non, en composant. Voilà. Là, il y a quoi? Là, il n'y a rien. Fatigué. Merci, mis dans ma liste, je regarderai mardi soir au travail. Super la voix. La voix de qui?
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Ah, cette musique, elle est horrible, hein, la musique de l'hosto. Hein.
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me, even the dark.
Good evening.
Ah, je vous le dis tout de
Dr.
suite, hein,
Reed,
dans ce let's play, je
new
pense que je vais
surgeon
essayer de buter tout le monde.
Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal.
J'ai juste envie de buter tout le monde.
Dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal?
Toi qui
My
fais du
clemency.
marchandage. Ah,
Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal,
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
ouais, moi je suis la reine d'Angleterre.
and why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks
Crumble.
and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right?
God save the queen.
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Eh mais meuf, t'énerve pas comme ça. Non mais oh. Je vais te tuer, hein. Attention.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you?
On va la perdre en direct.
What do you
Ah ouais,
require?
non mais là je suis en train de fondre dans
Proof
mon
of my
canapé.
powers?
Hein.
I'm curious to know who you were before.
Mais avec mes
becoming
lunettes, je commence à voir
No,
flou
such a long
les
time ago, I
sous-titres.
don't remember.
Tellement
Centuries
que
of
mes yeux sont
unholy life can
fatigués.
have strange effects on one's minds, you see.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal.
Tout ça déjà de base j'ai rallumé la lumière parce que sinon j'aurais fait rompsite.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've
Ah oui,
recently
lui je crois
taken
que
the position of
il m'a
head
semblé que c'est
surgeon.
un accident de voiture ou la maison qui a cramé, je sais plus.
You
Truc
guessed
dans le genre.
right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Un barbecue. Un barbecue de poubelle.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Il paraît que ça réveille. Ouais, non, on va quand même pas dire aux gens de cramer les poubelles en bas de chez moi, hein, quand même. N'empêche, ça fait un bon bout de temps que c'est pas arrivé.
Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
Un obus dans le village. Ça y est, j'arrive plus à dire.
Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal
Ça c'est clair que ça
Aren't you
réveille.
afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Le monde de Zouille, un coup de patte. Maintenant Zouille elle est sortie.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed.
Oh, l'autre jour Zouille elle a fait quelque chose de mignon, elle est allongée à côté de moi, puis elle m'a foutu sa patte dans la tronche. Enfin sur mon nez.
She never refers to my scars.
Ah, bah il était temps, monsieur Émile. Enfin. Bonsoir à toi, Émile.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real.
Il est toujours là, j'ai trop. Ah oui, il est là. Comment je suis devenue môme?
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much.
Non, c'est pas maman. Émile est là, l'équipe est enfin au complet. Raconte-moi ça. Quelque chose me dit que c'est une sacrée histoire. Oh non.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Damn. The pain.
I have wasted too much energy for so little result.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
De quoi?
How would you describe the situation?
Tu connais, c'est toujours de sacrées histoires avec les inconnus.
The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the
Raconte-moi comment
staff
cette
and
banane de
patients.
Gétro est devenue
You're
mot de
running
s'il
out
te
of
plaît.
everything.
You must get a hold of yourself.
Bah moi ça a été voulu dû au fait que Gétro m'a mis modératrice sur sa chaîne. Du coup je lui rends l'appareil comme à tous mes lives. Comme j'en fais pas des masses non plus, il est toujours là donc il mérite sa place de modo. Voilà. Donc moi non, ce n'était pas une simple erreur en appuyant sur un bitonio. Du coup, sur le jeu, je suis même pas l'histoire du jeu en fait. L'appareil d'état. Oh merde, attendez, depuis assez longtemps. Eh, tu me parles autrement, vieille.
Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
Ouais, j'avoue. Bah, c'est surtout parce que tout à l'heure, déjà, le jeu, il a merdé une fois.
Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual.
Et je cache pas que j'ai peur que ça recommence.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Rassure-moi, c'est un jeu PSD à la base. Non, il me semble pas que Vampyr soit un jeu PS2 à l'origine.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him.
Moi, je l'ai toujours connu sur PS4.
Milton is not the chatty type.
La première fois que j'ai joué, c'était sur le PS Now, il arrêtait pas de merder, et puis là, bah, c'est la même chose. Il merde toujours autant. Mais il y en a qui ont de la chance parce que le jeu n'a jamais bugué.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Trouvez votre bureau au premier étage et pénétrez dans le jardin.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sorry, I must apologize.
Ah, mais t'es le mec de tout à l'heure,
What
toi.
do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory.
Toi, j'ai un trophée à voir
Fear
avec
and
toi aussi,
exhaustion made
monsieur.
me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Votre vie à Londres.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place.
Moi, je suis mieux avec toi. Quelque chose de bizarre à côté de moi qui joue un jeu bizarre, ça fait peur quand même. Quand même. Vampyr sur PS2.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends.
Je comprends Amnésia.
William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Bah, le problème, c'est qu'Amnésia, je l'ai, bon, il est pas installé, mais me connaissant, je vais me faire littéralement caca dessus.
Do you know Tom Watts, the
Et
bartender
j'oserais
from
pas
the turn?
avancer.
I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course.
C'est ça le problème. Tu fais juste voler des objets. Ah ouais, non mais en plus tu vois que dalle là-dedans.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs,
Par
no
contre, Amnesia
advice,
Rebirth,
nothing.
il a l'air d'être pas mal.
Who should I avoid in this part of town then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to
En fait, je
speak
crois
ill
pas
of
à ce
people
qu'il
I know,
fait.
Doctor.
Ah oui, non mais Amnesia.
What is the general situation?
J'y ai joué qu'une seule fois.
The
Je me suis
situation
fait
is
caca
always
dessus.
tough, with a lot of
J'ai pas
tension
beaucoup
between the
avancé, j'ai
gangs
dû jouer
and the
quoi, une
Dockers
demi-heure.
trade union.
Et en une demi-heure, j'ai dû
Wet boot boys are
visiter
barely there since they lost
les
their
placards
leader.
qu'il y avait aux alentours, ramasser de
Who
l'amadou.
leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife
Je l'ai
Edwina who
entendu
runs the
péter,
shop,
elle a fait
with the
prout,
assistance
elle
of her
aurait pu
minion,
faire
Deuce
caca.
Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this sickness
Ça
for
me
so
rappelle
long,
l'autre jour
you
ma
know,
mère quand
the
elle allait
sad
aux
saying
toilettes
that
pour aller
these
se
days,
coucher puis qu'elle a lâché
no
un
one dares to
zéro
go
de la
to
mort.
sleep, not even criminals.
Ah j'ai trop.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I could go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never
À
came to
force de
see her
dialoguer,
here
il a
at Pembroke.
corrompu ma gentille.
Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
T'inquiète, je connais ça, ça finit toujours de mort.
I cannot enter.
Toi, t'es qui, toi? Pipa, je t'ai déjà parlé. Thelma, j'ai déjà parlé. Là, qu'y a-t-il? Là, y a rien. Ouais. Moi aussi, je sais faire du bruit, les gens. T'es qui, toi?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good
Il a pris ton
fortune.
innocence, c'est
Such
triste.
an honor, sir.
Triste avec deux S,
Thank you.
Yaya.
And you are?
I am
Triste.
Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Je sais pas, c'est la tenue que j'avais déjà aussi
Please, could you tell me something
la
about
première fois que j'ai joué.
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your
La
work
tenue que
have
j'ai, c'est celle de
inspired me.
base, je crois.
I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Avec ma vitesse. Merde, j'ai pas suivi.
You will obtain nothing from me by flattery, my young colleague.
Oh, I was not flattering you, sir. Not at all. Just clumsily expressing my sincere admiration.
Tu pourras voir ça dans ton bureau. D'accord. Bah,
I
j'irai voir
based
ça
my
dans mon bureau.
technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the pandemic?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Oh, moi aussi, je sais le faire. Hein.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first
Très
wave of
intéressant,
the
ça, on
epidemic,
prend
I used to joke
rendez-vous
with
quand
Milton
pour la,
about the extra
pour la
work.
transfusion.
Do you need
Aïe, aïe,
help
tu
with
me tues.
anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe.
Et tu fais des
I'm
vaccins?
waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal
Parce que
research.
visiblement, le V et le F, tu
My
les
supplier
échanges.
seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient
Pourquoi dès
suffering from
qu'un
a
jeu
severe
parle de
injury that
vampires,
could
les
cripple
mecs se
him if
sentent
not
obligés de
treated
jacter
correctly.
avec l'accent anglais?
I'm
Comme
convinced
si
your
les
blood
histoires pouvaient
transfusion
pas se passer
technique could help.
ailleurs.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's
Je suis
story.
Dr. Red, Jonathan Red.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Allez, raconte-moi ta petite histoire.
The first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Bon, t'as plus rien à me dire?
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Au revoir. Ouh, moi aussi, tais-toi, monsieur. Allez, ça on regarde. Voilà, c'est fait. Là, normalement, je crois qu'il y a d'autres to bib. Ah. Hop, on zouloute. On zouloute.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Qu'est-ce que tu regardes? Mes yeux sont plus hauts, monsieur.
Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work.
Il aime son ange.
I was more curious
Ouais, il
about
regarde
what
un
you were doing before.
Ouais, mes yeux sont placés plus
I'm
bas,
a carpenter,
visiblement.
and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't
Il est très
lie to
connu
you.
pour ses récits fantastiques mettant en
afraid
scène des
we are.
vampires,
Are you
loups-garous
sure
et
you don't want to
compagnie.
operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Oh, ça
How
arrive à
could
tout le
your
monde d'être
job
con.
be
Hein.
responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a
Tu me
double.
diras, en bas, ça
She went out to
ressemble
bring
à
me a
deux
hot
yeux
meal and
et
got
un
caught
nez.
with German bomb raid.
Et l'anus, c'est la bouche, c'est ça?
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
Les potes, ça fait des chocs épiques.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many
Exactement,
died
tu as
during
lu
the
dans mes
bombings.
pensées.
I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her.
Je me
that
souvenais
night.
plus que dans ce jeu ça parlait énormément.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always need the words to calm the children, Helen.
Allez, on essaie de zoulouter ce qu'il y a d'autre et puis je vais à mon bureau, j'en ai marre de parler aux gens. J'ai plus envie de vous parler les gens. Là, il y a quelque chose? Non. Allez, je vais à mon bureau. Les marches. Là. T'as une partie d'enquête. Ouais, je sais, mais je me souvenais plus que ça parlait autant. Disons que c'est pas un jeu à faire quand déjà t'es fatigué. Parce que tu sombres encore plus.
Not now.
Not now. C'est bon. Premier étage, j'y suis de toute façon. En même temps, ils aident pas avec ce genre de musique. Là, c'est pas là. Ah, mon bureau, il doit être quelque part. Hop, là, on zouloute. Mais putain de tabouret, casse-toi. Hop là, on zouloute. Ils en auront plus besoin. Blablabla. Bla, bla, bla. C'est chiant. Alors, moi, mon chez moi, il est là.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own.
Mon lit.
At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
J'ai du sérum. Bouteille de gin. Bouteille d'alcool. Montre. Petite bidule. Petite bouteille. Bon, allez, hop là, on recycle. On recycle. On recycle. Et on recycle. Voilà.
Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night.
Et tais-toi.
I have so much time.
J'ai elle aussi à arroser pour un trophée.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Je peux lui pisser dessus, hein. Alors, c'est un jeu à la Mass Effect. Alors, il va falloir parler et écouter tout le monde. Ouais, je sais, mais à cette heure-là, tu vois, j'ai pas la foi d'écouter tout le monde. C'est long, enrichissante. Résoudre leurs problèmes augmente la qualité de leur sang et augmente la réputation du quartier. Ouais, je me souviens vaguement de ça, mais je crois que j'ai envie de faire un carnage. Je sais pas si c'est une bonne idée, mais... Au moins cela nourrira ta plante. Ouais. Engager un vampire, au moins la nourriture. Ouais. Engager un vampire sachant que tu vas perdre des patients et possiblement ta vie éventuellement. GG. Oh, je suis plus à ça près, hein, perso. Quitte à mourir, hein. Non, j'ai pas fini. Non. Et voilà. Névralgie. Ah oui, c'est vrai, je l'ai buté, lui. Il fait un gros nana. Bon, il y en a une qu'il faut que je soigne contre la névralgie. Le gars s'est dit que d'avoir un vampire docteur, ce serait bien, sachant qu'il doit se nourrir. Ayant le secret de la transfusion, tu n'as pas besoin de tuer qui que ce soit. Ça va, état du quartier satisfaisant, ça reste raisonnable. Est-ce que je peux faire des mélanges de quoi que ce soit? Bonjour madame.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead.
Au pire, un coup d'eau de javel, ça soigne tout le monde, hein.
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke. And space is luxury we don't have.
Un peu de cyanure, de mort au rat, ça devrait le faire.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Monsieur...
It's locked.
Ah non, il n'y a personne là. Là, il n'y a rien, j'ai fouillé. Allez, pousse-toi. Monsieur... Là, il n'y a rien dans les placards. Oh, il n'y a rien. Thelma... Thomas... T'es qui, toi? Dorothy... Un indien dans la ville... Une poubelle... Hop là... Là, il n'y a rien à piquer.
It's locked.
Ah, il me faut la clé de je sais plus trop qui là. Un indien dans la ville. Comme Rambo, de la poudre dans la plaie et hop, une allumette. Et ben voilà, tu vois. Rapide, simple et efficace. Là, il n'y a rien à chourave. T'es qui, toi? Ah, t'es toujours la même que je croise. Il me manque Loretta. J'ai pas parlé à Loretta. T'es qui, toi? Oh. C'est pas... Là, je peux pas y aller. Toi, je t'ai parlé. Elle est où, Loretta? J'ai une lettre pour toi, je crois. Madame?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Magie m'a fait sursauter, je m'attendais pas. Quel rêve, et qu'elle se mette à faire le fameux aboiement de rêve et bim. La vilaine.
Pepper, are you sure you want to
Pepper.
leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want
On
more.
dirait qu'ils sont déjà tous morts à
I want
l'intérieur.
to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people.
Les Indes
in
étaient
need of
colonies
hope.
Maybe you're
britanniques.
right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
Alors, qu'est-ce qu'ils me disent sur Pipa?
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Au revoir. T'es qui, toi? Toi, je t'ai pas parlé, toi?
Yes, Doctor?
Ah si, oh, t'es toujours la même.
Why then do you always work the nights? Don't you ever sleep?
At
C'est
the
une
Pembroke,
vampire.
we're always hands on deck.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster. I've witnessed many a colleague succumb to stimulants to fight exhaustion. Drugs were as deadly as bullets in the trenches.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital. We are on the front line, make no mistake.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit, Nurse Crane, but when do you sleep?
We staff get our sleep when we can, Doctor. Nursing is a vocation, not the labor of a journeyman.
Aucune personne se pose la question pourquoi le mec, le blanc de ses yeux, il est rouge.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane, thank you.
Je sais pas. Bon, elle m'a dit que c'était derrière. Oh, une poubelle. Ouais, bah, j'y reviendrai plus tard ici, ne vous en faites pas. Au revoir. Il fait de la conjonctivite. C'est des lentilles. Et non, mais en plus, le mec, il a les yeux blancs, il a le blanc des yeux qui est rouge. Enfin, je sais pas, on peut pas dire que c'est un manque de fatigue. C'est un manque de sommeil, un manque de fatigue. Donc, je crois que c'était par cette porte-là qu'il fallait passer. Hop.
I cannot enter.
Ah, gna gna gna. Vous me faites chier avec vos portes.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Nam 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 nam. Tiens. Elle était bonne ma patoune. Le monsieur il glisse un peu sur le sol. Hein. Ah. Chut, fais moins de bruit quand tu fous dans la poubelle. Oh bah alors monsieur, on a des puces. Aïe 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 aïe. Et moi aussi chez le... On me coince. Aïe. Ah, nom, 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 nom. Attendez, je me heal. Tiens, bouffe ma patte. Oh.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins.
J'avais compris le mot salaud, hein.
Those two have hidden their affections well.
On fouille les cadavres. Allez, je vais dodo les gens. Bonne nuit tout le monde. Et bah, bonne nuit à toi, j'ai trop. Des bisous. À demain. Bonne nuit. Je suis perdue. Pour changer, de toute façon. Ah, bah quand même. J'ouvre une porte et je trouve des chevrotiennes. C'est étrange. Et je pense que d'ici un petit quart d'heure, je vais peut-être arrêter aussi. Parce que je tombe de sommeil depuis tout à l'heure. Eh ben, ça a l'air joyeux ici, dis donc. En même temps, c'est une morgue. Hop là, du sous-coutage. Ok, donc ça, c'est ce qui est en dessous. Mais non, je voulais pas sortir. Quel débile. Oh là, sur le live de Ludo. Bisous à tous. Okidoki. Ah, j'étais en train de me dire, ça y est, le jeu il a bugué parce que le chargement ne se lance pas. Bon, sachant que ça a sauvegardé, je vais m'arrêter là. Donc, je vous fais à tous des bisous. Je vous souhaite une bonne nuit. Moi, je pense que je vais mettre un truc et faire... Et faire... Donc voilà, des bisous et bonne nuit à tous.